Hi, I'm Liv, and welcome back to the Book Nook. Hey guys, so look, I've had my hair cut. A little bit, not too much. I wasn't feeling brave enough to go for anything drastic. Just had a little trim and a tie. So hopefully there will be a lot less of me going although not now, because I just need to fix this, okay? So I've got a nice pot of coffee next to me and a stack of books on the other side. So originally I was going to do a haul that I thought was going to be quite a massive haul, because I have bought or received or acquired bought most of them, quite a few books so far in August, but quite a few of them have been second-hand ones. So I went to a little book fair in Topsham at the weekend, and I've bought a few sort of second-hand ones online, just copies that I was really keen to get hold of and were older copies or what have you. So what I've decided to do is at the end of August, I'm going to do an August second-hand mega haul. August second-hand mega haul. That's what it's going to be called, so I'll do that at the end of the month. First book that I'm going to haul is City of Circles by Jess Richards. Now, when it arrived, I looked at it and I thought, not normally the kind of thing I would read, but it was sent to me by the lovely Francine at Scepter Books, who has sent me some really great stuff in the past, so I trust her. And she thought I might like a copy, so I'm going to give it a go. And it also came with this, I guess it's a tarot card, and I don't know what it means. So I don't know how scared or thrilled to be, because I don't know what this means. It's a load of blokes with some sticks, and it's got V written at the top of it. If anyone knows tarot, am I about to die? What does this mean? Or does it, I mean, it probably has something to do with the book, would probably be, you know, the sensible conclusion. Dani is a tightrope walker who is mourning her parents after a disease has ravaged the circus where she grew up. Her mother has entrusted her with a locket that hides a secret. She begins a high-wire act with Maury, a charismatic hunchback who wants to marry her. When the circus returns to Dani's birthplace, the magical city of Matryoshka, she discovers the name of a stranger who may hold the answer to her past. When the circus leaves, she stays behind. Will she and Maury ever be reunited, or will something unexpected be waiting for her in the mysterious heart of the City of Circles? I am going to give this one a go because it sounds like an escapist type book, and the cover is gorgeous. Me likey. City of Circles by Jess Richards, and thanks again to Francine at Scepter for sending me this one, thank you. Next up we have a book which I've been meaning to read for a little while, and one of my colleagues had a copy and they have lent it to me, and that is lovely of them, and that is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail, Honeyman. Now, you've probably heard quite a lot about this one. It was a Radio 2 book club book, and it seems to have been all over the place, reviewed really, really well. A couple of my colleagues have read this one now and said it's really sort of sweet. It's one of these books seems to be going with the trend of kindness. I think we could all do with a bit of kindness. So Eleanor Oliphant leads a simple life. She wears the same clothes to work every day, eats the same meal deal for lunch every day, and buys the same 2 bottles of vodka to drink every weekend. Eleanor Oliphant is happy. Nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled life, except, sometimes, everything. One simple act of kindness is about to shatter the walls Eleanor has built around herself. Now she must learn how to navigate the world that everyone else seems to take for granted, while searching for the courage to face the dark corners she's avoided all her life. Change can be good, change can be bad, but surely any change is better than fine. So yeah, I've heard a lot about this one, and I love these end papers. It's meant to be a book sort of about kindness and about people, and it's meant to be just quite a pleasant read. And as I say, I've been hearing a lot about it and mean to get around to it, so I'm going to get around to this one soon. And again, bit of a just kind of a cosy curl-up read kind of thing. So Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail, Honeyman. Honeyman, honeymoon, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that nearly rhymed. I don't know what I'm doing. If I was Scottish, that would work. So the next book I picked up is a book that I very nearly bought in hardback when I saw it, but I resisted and have waited for the paperback, and that is Robert Ferguson's Scandinavians in Search of the Soul of the North. Now, I love me some Scandi. If I could move to any country, it would be one of the Scandinavian countries. Finland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden's probably top of my list, to be quite honest with you. Is Iceland one of the Scandinavian countries as well? I'm really bad at geography. For someone who loves a Scandinavian country, I'm really quite crap at it. Maybe I'm in love with Sweden, not gonna lie. Faroe Islands, they're another one, aren't they? But is Iceland too far up? Iceland's above Finland, right? Somebody get me a map. I've never been to any of them, but I really want to. I love the cold, and I love all their sort of... Not that that's the only thing they've got on offer, but I'm more of an autumnal, wintry person. I love all of the sort of myths and the legends that come out of Scandinavia, all of the Norse gods, the Norse myths. Absolutely love it, and I'm in love with IKEA. I'm trying not to be quite so simplistic, but I'm in love with the whole idea of the Scandinavian countries, and I know that's probably really... There's probably some people maybe watching from any of the Scandinavian countries going, wow, stereotype much, and I'm sorry, but that's what I'm trying to I love me some Scandi, and this one just intrigued me. As I say, I saw it when I was stacking shelves, saw the hardback copy of it a few months ago, and I was like, oh dear. But I resisted, and I've waited for the paperback. So yes, oh, it's not actually got a blurb on the back. Let's see if I can find one. No. Well, it says on the back, it's got a few reviews on the back for anyone interested in the allure of the Scandinavian landscape, character, history and literature. Scandinavians as essential reading. That's from Sir Richard Eyre. An absorbing study of these enigmatic northern lands, Ferguson stretches wide the fabric of history, his knowledge and insights bringing the varied stories of the Nordic people vividly to life. It's from the Irish Times. A combination of personal memoir, literary and cultural analysis and episodic history, an affectionate and at times wandering survey of a little-known collective culture. From Times Literary Supplement. Now, if I remember rightly, yes, Robert Ferguson has lived in Norway since 1983. He's the biographer of Henrik Ibsen and Knut Hamsun and the author of a couple of books. He's the translator of Lars Mytting's best-selling Norwegian Wood, winner of the Non-Fiction Book of the Year at the British Book Awards in 2016. So he obviously knows a fair bit about some Scandinavian countries. And it's just, looks, I'm just flicking through, and names, So I'm really, really excited to read this one. Again, it'll probably be a dippy one. It'll be one that I enjoy very, very much, I'm sure of it. Scandinavians in Search of the Soul of the North by Robert Ferguson. So the next couple that I'm going to haul, I have actually, at the time of recording this haul, already read. They are two that I did not wait for to haul, to get around to reading, and I'm not even mad. And the first one is Paper Girls Volume 3 by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang. I am a huge fan of Paper Girls. Having said that, I've not a solid clue what's going on. Like, I'm not a very clever person, and I can't really follow sort of like time travel and stuff, and the problem with graphic novels as well is, unless you're someone who follows the, you know, each episode of the comic as it comes out, issue of the comics, when you read this one, it's sort of months, years, a year-ish, at a time in between graphic novels, and I was just really excited to get reading this one, and I probably should have reread volumes 1 and 2 before I read this, but I didn't, and I just dove straight in, and some of it's coming back. I haven't got a sodding clue what's going on, but I love it. No idea. I'm so confused with time travel and stuff, but I love it. It's great. The characters are great. Anyway, this is turning into a wrap up. Then another one that I have bought and already read, but I'm hauling anyway now, is Giant Days Volume 5. I am in love with Giant Days. It is a comic about 3 girls up at Sheffield University, and it just brings back so many memories of going to uni, and it's just absolutely wonderful. And in this 5th issue, episode, season, volume, they're just gearing up. They finished their first year and they're just gearing up to move into their student housing for second year. And there's something so charming about Giant Days. It's just warm, it's fuzzy, it's funny, and it's just, I love it. Yeah, so Giant Days Volume 5, I would say I'm really excited to read it, but I've already read it and I loved it, but you should go read it too. Now, the final book that I've got here in my haul is one that I am so excited about and so in love with, and I feel like you should prepare yourselves for how gorgeous this cover is as well. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, a little glimpse there. A little glimpse. But are you ready? Prepare yourself. It's gorgeous. I'm just going to move over to give it some... You sure you're ready? Ah, there's like patterns in here as well, and it's just so... So, the Book of Disquiet, the complete edition, is by Fernando Pessoa, and this edition is published by Serpent's Tail, who, if any of you have been paying attention for the last 12 months, will know published The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, which had the most gorgeous cover I think a lot of us have seen for a while. And Serpent's Tail have done it again with this one. I don't know whether you can see, but there's gold, like, foiling. You can probably just see a little bit of a sparkle up here when I do this. There's a bit of gold foiling, and as I say, there are patterns in this purpley blue. And I'm going to read the blurb from this complete edition for you. The Book of Disquiet is one of the great literary works of the 20th century. Written over the course of Fernando Pessoa's life, it was first published in 1982, pieced together from the thousands of individual manuscript pages left behind by Pessoa after his death in 1935. Now, this fragmentary, modernist masterpiece appears in a major new edition that unites Margaret Jill Costa's celebrated translation with previously missing texts. It's presented here for the first time in English by order of original composition and accompanied by facsimiles of the original manuscript. Narrated principally by an assistant bookkeeper named Bernardo Suarez, an alias of sorts for Pessoa himself, the Book of Disquiet is the autobiography of someone who never existed. a mosaic of dreams, of hope and despair, a hymn to the streets and cafes of 1930s Lisbon, and an extraordinary record of the inner life of one of the century's most important writers. This new edition represents the most complete vision of Pessoa's genius, and I am just in love with the end papers. Basically, it's gorgeous. And it's got facsimile pages and, oh, I hadn't smelled it yet. And I am just absolutely, I'm in love with this one. As I say, it's one of my favourite books of all time, and I'm going to Portugal later this year, or albeit I am going to Porto rather than to Lisbon, so I'm going to take a copy of it with me, probably not this one, but I am going to take a copy of the Book of Disquiet with me because I've got a couple of different editions. So yeah, I'm just really excited to just, I'm just so excited about this. I'm going to read you on the back. There's one of the fragments on the back here, and I'm going to read it to you if I may. Apart from cafes and dairies, nothing is open yet, but the quietness is not the indolent quiet of Sunday mornings. It is simply quiet. The air has a blonde edge to it, and the blue sky reddens through the thinning mist. A few passers-by signal the first hesitant stirrings of life in the streets, and high up at a rare open window, the occasional early morning face appears. As the trams pass, they trace a yellow, numbered furrow through the air, and minute by minute the streets begin to people themselves once more. I drift without thoughts or emotion, attending only to my senses. I woke up early and came out to wander aimlessly through the streets. I observe them meditatively. I see them with my thoughts, and, absurdly, a light mist of emotion rises within me. The fog that is lifting from the outside world seems slowly to be seeping into me. Fernando Pessoa's writing, as I say, I discovered the Book of Disquiet a couple of years ago when I was at university. It was when I was doing my masters, and I was exploring writing sort of fragmentary texts that sort of summed up to this whole overall narrative. And I was recommended the Book of Disquiet, and there's something about his writing that it's just got this quality to it that just says something about life. It says everything about life in its own special way, and you sort of don't notice what it's saying until it's kind of just, it seeps into you a little bit like that mist that Pessoa was talking about there. It just sort of settles on you and fills you up, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And as I say, I've got a couple of different editions of the Book of Disquiet, but this, the complete edition, new edition by Serpent's Tail, is A, gorgeous, and B, just perfect and amazing, and I'm in love with it. As soon as I heard this was coming out a couple of months ago, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be getting that, aren't I? And I did. So if you haven't read Fernando Pessoa's The Book of Disquiet, get this edition. It's the most complete one yet. Obviously, if Serpent's Tail bring out a paperback edition of that, I'll be getting that as well. But yeah, The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa, one of my all-time favourite books, and a dream is to go to Lisbon. And as I say, spend some time reading it where it was kind of written and just soak it up. But until then, I will satisfy myself with spending some time with this edition. And as I say, I'm going to Porto later on in the year, which I'm very excited about. I don't think I've mentioned that yet on the BookTube channel. I am going to Porto later on in the year because my sister, who lives out in Australia, who occasionally watches these, so if she's watching, hi! She lives out in Australia, but she's coming over to Portugal for some kind of conference, so me and my family are going out there to meet her and her partner, and yeah, it'll be the first time I've been abroad since I went to Australia in 2010. So I went to Edinburgh earlier on this year, and I took a plane because I was like, I want to go on a plane again, but it still doesn't really count as abroad yet. Brexit. So yeah, I'll be quite excited to go abroad for the first time for a little while, going to Porto for, I think, 4 nights, and looking at my calendar, as I go to Portugal, the Goldsmiths, either shortlist or longlist, will have just been announced. So I will probably be taking copies of the Goldsmith Prize, short or long list, can't remember which, with me to Portugal, and that'll probably be my holiday reading, but I'm going to decide on more of a TBR nearer the time. So, a bit of a catch-up as well. I finished reading Solar Bones the other night, and I've got a lot to say about that one, but I will talk about that in my wrap-up, which I will do in a few days' time. But Solar Bones was my 99th book of the year. I genuinely nearly went into 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. No, there should be 99 books of the year on the... 99 books of the year on the shelf. So I've got to decide what my 100th book of the year is going to be. Now, last year, I read 100 books in the year, but I only started counting in about February, so I probably did read a bit more than that. And I wasn't working anywhere near full-time last year, or for the majority of last year. So when I came into 2017, I was like, right, I'm going to be working more, no way I'm going to reach 100 books. So I'd set myself a target of, I think, about 65. And a few months ago I got to about 70. I was like, okay, I'll up it to 100. And the other night when I finished Solar Bones and I added it to my Goodreads as finished, I realised, oh, that was a 99. So I'm going to up my reading challenge again for the year. Now, I would love to think that I could get to 200 this year and double it, but I think that will be a bit optimistic considering we're over halfway through the year now and Christmas will be an incredibly busy time. Obviously working in a bookshop, busiest time of the year, there's no way I'll be able to read anywhere near as much over Christmas, and of course we're going away to Portugal, never read quite as much on holiday, so I'm not gonna up it to 200. As much as I would love to, I just do not see that being possible. So I'm probably gonna up my reading challenge for 2017 to 150 books, which I think will be doable. So I've been trying to decide what my 100th book of the year will be, and I know it's totally stupid, like it doesn't matter. It's just an arbitrary number, it's just something that I'm deciding in my head, but I feel like book 100 of the year needs to be like something memorable. I don't know why, it's totally stupid. So I've been wondering what my 100th book of the year was going to be, and sort of trying to decide, and knowing that if I really got too complicated about it, I'd stand here in this room in front of my bookshelves and freak out for about an hour trying to pick what I read as my 100th book of the year. But then it struck me what my 100th book of the year has to be, and that is Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type, because I don't want to leave it too long reading this, having, you know, only just received it in the last couple of weeks or so, and it's short stories, so yeah, I'm gonna start reading this one later on this afternoon, and I'm very excited. So yeah, Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type is going to be book 100 of 2017. But yeah, this year, I know that once I finish Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type, I would have done 100 books this year. So as I say, I'm going to try and up my target to 150 books by the end of the year, and then we'll see going into 2018 whether I reckon I can best that, but I doubt it. And then, of course, I know what the next couple of books are going to be. Well, I may be able to fit in another one or two in between Tom Hanks' book and the next two, but of course I have got to read for a couple of book groups coming up, All the Light We Cannot See and Northern Lights, so I've got to read those. The 31st of August for anyone in Exeter who wants to come and join in with our Philip Pullman book group at Waterstones Exeter, 31st of August, which is a Thursday, at 6 o'clock we will be doing something in store to talk about this one, and then as I say, September the something, I've forgotten, but I'll put it down below. Again, if you're in Exeter, our book group will be reading All the Light We Cannot See, and Dave and I will be running those two. So those are my next few books, but as I say, I might be able to fit another one in after the Tom Hanks before I start reading those two. We shall see. So yeah, a slightly smaller haul than I originally anticipated when I walked into my room and was planning it and saw the stack of books. But as I say, I've decided to do an end of August secondhand mega haul. So this is just the sort of August part 1 haul of other books that aren't secondhand. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of the ones that I've hauled today. Of course, I've already read 2 of them. As I say, the 2 graphic novels, I was not waiting around for those. So I got stuck in with those, so they will also be in my wrap-up, which I will probably do, yeah, towards the end of the week. Have you read any of the books that I have hauled that I haven't read? Have you ever read the book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa? I would love to hear from other people who've read that book. As I say, one of my all-time favourites, so do have a little chat with me in the comments below about that book. Somebody at the front has now started up with a hedge trimmer, so that's going to be really fun to edit out, so I'm definitely going to have to try and do this all in one take, and I'm really conscious of that as I'm talking now, so I might just have to take a breath and have a little look out the window. As I've been talking about my reading challenge as well, I mean, how many books have you read so far this year? How many are you hoping to read? Are you setting a target? Are you someone who sets any kind of target or sets any kind of store by that? I don't really set any kind of store by it. It's just quite interesting for me to track on Goodreads. That's the good thing about Goodreads, is you can track when you've read things, how long it's taken you to read things, and how many books you've read in the year. Is that something that any of you are doing? Are you tracking it in any way, be it, you know, in a nice lovely notebook or on Goodreads or somewhere else? And if so, as I say, how many books have you read so far this year? How are you doing with reading challenge? Are you doing reading challenge? You get what I'm asking you here. I'm going to stop talking now. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time, or you will see me next time. Have a little chat in the comments below, and have a good week. Thanks, bye.